Alright, we're back again. We're back again. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Am I live? This is the question. To be or not to be live? Alrighty. Good stuff. Looks like we're live once again. Alrighty. Hello. Like I was saying before, it's been a little bit since we were last together here. So let's get right into it, shall we? So couple of things that have gone on. I have gotten some prints done of some original watercolor work that I had did, God, quite a while ago. I believe one of them I did here on stream with you guys. I ended up tabling at a little craft fair this past weekend, I want to say. So I got some prints done, and I also made some little keychains, which I shall show off. Nice little, I believe they're 5x7 prints. So we got this one. Like that one a lot. We got this one, which I think is my personal favorite. Just from the assortment of colors, from the way the whole thing is arranged, it looks so good. At least I think so anyway. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but shouldn't I be? Should not the artist enjoy their own work? I mean, if not, what's the point of doing it, right? You should enjoy what you create. Even if you don't like the whole thing, that's okay. You can still figure something out that you enjoy about your work, right? So yeah, we got these flowers, we got the other one, and then this one I think is one that we did here on stream together. This one I am not super fond of the way the yellow came out. I feel like it looks a little bit muddy. Overall though, it's still a beautiful print. I'm not sure if it's the way that Staples does prints. Could also be the fact that this is a glossy finish and the other two are matte finishes. I think though it has more to do with, like I said, the way that Staples does their prints. They do them in CMYK rather than RGB. RGB being red, green, blue, and CMYK being cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. The two different schools of thought, we can say. For those of you who might not know, that just essentially means what the primary colors of a given printing process is. In RGB, the primary colors are red, green, and blue. Think first gen of Pokemon. And in CMYK, you have cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, I believe. So certain colors end up getting a little bit. Welcome back. Sorry about that. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often. Um, I think that's a sign that I potentially blabber on a little bit too much. But you know what? That's okay. I enjoy the sound of my own voice. Um, where was I going with this? I don't remember. Huh. Well, I guess that train of thought is just, it'll come back to me. It'll hit me at like 3 in the morning. I'll just be woken out of a deep sleep and it'll hit me. As does happen. Anyway, one of the other things that I did was make keychains. And those are all in here. Now, I really enjoy the way that these came out, and it was a big creative process. So, in here, you hear that? It's the sound of ingenuity, baby. So, I had a few that were inspired by Demon Slayer. Not as many as I might have liked, but my first time doing keychains as well as creating everything from hand, kind of on a more grand scale. But it was fun getting to work out all of the ideas and getting them onto paper and everything like that. So we have the ones that are Demon Slayer inspired. Great show. Great show. Very good stuff. And then we have a few in here that are just kind of designs of my own making. You know, we got these, which very cool. I enjoy a lot. I like this one. Not so much this in the center, but this rainbow is something that I find to be really, it's a cool piece of art to have in tiny form, right? Then, of course, it wouldn't be my item without at least one of these guys. So, it's very nice. It's very nice. So, these are essentially cardstock that is, I believe, a 35 millimeters by 45 millimeters. So, I think what we're going to do today is kind of break down my process for doing them. We'll make something, but we'll put a little bit of a spin on it, given the season that it is. So, piggybacking off of that, let's go forward towards this sketchbook. It's a new sketchbook. It's a new way of taking the ideas from our minds, getting them into something, onto paper, so that not only are they brought into reality, but they're here. Even if I forget them, I got them right here. So, this is a Canson graduate book. It is the one for manga because it is very bright white. The pages are nice and thick, and they lend themselves well to holding on to inks and colors, things of that nature. So just to flip to a blank page real quick so I can show you that's nice, kind of bright white. And see if I can move this here light just a little closer. There we go. Very smooth paper as well. If you guys can kind of take a look at the thickness here. It's kind of like, reminds me of the scene from Ratatouille where Colette is telling Linguini about the sound of the bread and how you can tell the freshness of bread based on how it sounds, how that crust can resonate. And I think that's really cool. So, as with any sketchbook, I like to try to start with some swatches and stuff, using gel inks that I used for the keychains, because this is going to be the sketchbook where we do keychain ideas, or anything that's going to be put into a similar kind of shell, right? So, what we're going to do, I got these, just kind of some guys, I don't know, some guys that I came up with on the spot. Here we've got kind of the first little page, and I actually came up with an ingenious method, if I'm allowed to compliment myself for a second, of making these look accurate, because sometimes it can be really difficult to try and nail down something either to scale or accurately. So my idea was at first to make a stencil or build my own kind of like little square out of either pre-measured wood or keeping a tiny ruler on hand at all times. See, the problem with that would be wanting to make sure that everything is as straight as it possibly can be, and that can be difficult. So I actually figured out, totally on my own, believe it or not, I had a few of these lying around, right? Now, these, I believe this one I bought at Walmart, because I'm pretty sure Pen and Gear is the Walmart brand. Graph paper. Now, each of these little squares is, I believe it's half a centimeter. Yeah, because that would be 5 millimeters. Each of them is half a centimeter. So, if each is half of a centimeter, that would make 4 of them in a square shape. That is a 1 centimeter square area, right? So, if I wanted to properly and accurately measure a proper stencil for these keychain pieces, essentially all you'd have to do is just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Just make sure I can indeed count. All right. 9 centimeters. Okay. And then if I just went and cut this out like that, I would have a pretty good, if not a little rough, estimate on how to measure. Hello. Hello. Well, right now I'm rambling on about my process behind making keychains for a craft. Alright, we back. I think we back. Um, is the music too loud, or are we good? I can lower it, I can make it a little bit louder. I guess it doesn't need to be louder, but I can lower it a little bit if need be. Um, awesome. Thank you. So, where was I? Rambling. Okay. So, essentially, once I had the proper measurement, just go ahead and X-Acto knife. I can make it louder if I want. Okay, awesome. I will keep that in mind. Thank you. And so by cutting that out, you get your you get your little thing. So that affords you so much freedom. So much freedom. Because then you can make your sketches in your little book here as close to accurate as you could, really. So it also affords you the opportunity of learning how to eyeball it, because sometimes I'm not going to have that on me. Sometimes things happen as they do. But little trick that I figured could work that I think I'll show here. Markers for the keychains. No, actually, I found some really cool gel pens, also from Walmart, because sometimes you don't need. I like to use art supplies that are affordable. I don't want something really good to only look that extra bit of good because of the material. I like my work to speak for itself, and I like to show everybody that might think that they can't create something that looks really good, that no, you can. Gel pens, because they always end up smudging. Yeah, that's the only thing with these. You do have to wait a little bit for them to dry. Not a long time, but enough of a time that, you just make sure everything is decent, I guess you could say. The other thing with gel pens that do impatient to do that. Totally understand. Totally get that. But there are ways around that too. You can either get yourself a little hand dryer, or honestly, it wasn't such a big deal, because when you're making so many of these at once, like for instance the Demon Slayer inspired ones that I did. Let's just use these as an example. I like doing things conveyor belt style. So once the stencil was done, I went and I did the dark orange on each of these three. By the time I finished this one was dry. So we did the second layer time finish this one was dry. And you just work in such a way that kind of forces some patience. And it also gives you the opportunity to see the whole process in a bit of a different way. So, everyone's got their own method, but yeah, exactly. I mean, we are making keychains here, so you might as well work in a chain, right? Ha ha ha. Alright, moving on. Let's go ahead. Take these gloves off because I don't want to get ink on them. And I also don't want to get these in the way of anything. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. I like watercolors a lot too. I don't know if you were here when I talked about them before, but in addition to the keychains that I made for the craft fair, I also made some prints of some original watercolor work that I had done. And they ended up coming out looking pretty good. I think my favorite is this one. Well, I don't think I know it. It kind of almost gives me like an Eric Carle kind of vibe. Like very, I don't know. I get very Hungry Caterpillar vibes from it. Like that old kind of like, I don't know. There's just something so captivating about it. And maybe it's because, like, I did this, and so seeing it on, like, a printed thing is just very, like, very cool. Oh, good. Good, I'm glad you like the purple one. I think I want to say I did this on stream. So if you want to see the original getting painted, it is on my YouTube channel, which is, I believe, the same name as this. It is made by Jade, and I could be wrong. That might have been before I had the channel, but assuming it's on there, it should be the first video. So, without further ado, because I know I'm going to fill these anyway. I'm going to need to make more. So, now, the simple way to do it would, of course, be to just kind of take this and trace around it. No, exactly. But if I want to train my eye, if I want to breed a sense of familiarity with it, how would I become familiar enough to kind of eyeball it in a way where I develop muscle memory, right? What I'm essentially going to do is we're going to go ahead, line this up. Over here, this will be our first edge. And we are just going to kind of go, make sure it's as parallel as possible. And we're going to create that line. Next thing we're going to do, take this and just kind of do the same thing. Make sure that we're all good and lined up. And we're going to run along the full length of this right here. Now, this gives us the opportunity, if we want to, we can kind of place this inside here, make sure we're good. But this is really all that you need to fill up the whole rest of the book, right? So if we just kind of assume and trust in our ability to make straight lines, you want to line these up. see, these Micron pens are fantastic. I love them. They've taken quite a bit of abuse, gotta say, recently. So, I'm definitely thankful for them. So, there's the first one. But say I want, to fill the whole thing up, right? If we're gonna go ahead and create the next one, we only have to make a single line this time, because it's a little bit more difficult to, if we're going horizontally, or vertically rather, to, to do that. So, if I want to title the idea of a sketch, we'll leave some room just in case. We don't have to, but this is my sketchbook, so we'll do things how I want to do them. Just create that first line, and then we already have established the estimation of a 35 millimeter line right there. So we would just go and continue like that until we're kind of familiar with the way of doing it. Gonna go to sleep since it's very late. Alright, well, sleep well, and if you want to come back and watch the VOD when the stream is done, it'll be here for you. It's good talking to you, and I hope you have a good night. Where was I? Okay. So, again, we'll just kind of trust in our ability to make a straight line. Down we go. And then we already have established the base for a horizontal line. Just like that. It's almost like magic. So, going forward next, I think and I mean, same sort of deal. If we're going to go horizontally across the page, we can just kind of, I think the best way of going about it would likely be to start in the middle and then kind of branch outwards from that, because it kind of works the same way. You've already got your guide to go horizontally. Likewise, you'll need this, but you've already got your whole thing, and the more the page fills up, the easier your ability to estimate will be. So, we can just kind of go ahead, fill the rest of this page up here. And of course, this is a sketchbook. It doesn't have to be totally accurate. This is your playground to do whatever you want, however you want it. The only limitations are the ones that you place on yourself, right? It's how best to think about things, in my mind anyway. And of course, if you want to, you can always just kind of go in there and see how accurate it is. So it's a little bit thinner, it looks like, but you know what, that's okay, because depending on the brand that you use, it'll be a little bit different, and there are some irregularities with this one, I found. So sometimes you do want to account for that just a little bit. But moving on forward, you can just make sure that everything is good. We're going straight as possible. And there we go. Eventually the whole thing is filled up. Can probably put about 12, because here I've got 9. See, that was me trying to eyeball after a very long day. Didn't quite work. But you know what? Should I ever get keychains that end up measuring 25 millimeters by 30 millimeters, we already know I can eyeball those quite well. So, let's go ahead and that's how that's done. Let's go ahead and make one, shall we? I'm thinking we're going to do something more winter themed. I have no idea exactly what it's going to be, but we'll make something. We can make it up as we go, because this is our time, and we can do anything however we want to, because not only are we artists, we're adults. We get to make the rules. We get to make the rules, and as artists, it's our job to break them as well. So, let's get out a fresh little piece of cardstock here. Let's see what we can do. So, we'll try to be a little bit more accurate with this, because if the goal is to actually put it into a keychain, we're going to want to not only be accurate, but try and conserve material, because material's not always cheap. And sometimes you just want to make sure that you're using your stuff wisely. So if you just go along here, move this out just a little bit, because again, there's some irregularity with the way that everything comes out, so you want to just make sure that you are accounting for that, because it would be unfortunate to have to leave out a detail somewhere because it turns out it doesn't quite fit inside the dimensions of the keychain itself. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to pop this bad boy out. If I can actually get my little fingies in here. Hey, look at that. Ask nicely, and it works. Let's see here. I have some nails, but I don't want to damage them. I swear, a couple days ago I had full nails. I was moving around furniture in my bedroom and accidentally ended up breaking like 4 of them. But that's okay. Luckily they were clean breaks, they didn't hurt, they didn't bleed. So that's a good thing. That's a silver lining. And you can find silver linings anywhere. Alrighty. So, the other way I was kind of doing it, I got this little flathead screwdriver. Just kind of sticking it in there, popping her out. There we go. So, there is a tiny bit of scratching and scuffing, a little bit. You can buff that out. You can use Windex. Some of them are slightly deeper than surface level. That's okay though. Sometimes that just happens. Where was I going with this? I found it. The knife of paper cutting. So what we're going to do here, maintaining a steady hand and the desire to stay out of the hospital, just very carefully making sure that this is actually the sharp side. It is. And we're just going to go ahead and do the old New York slice. Oh, did that work? Kind of. Let's try that again with a little bit more pressure. One more time with feeling, as they say. It's a good song. Anyway. One more little cut, and then we should be good. So now, what we've got... Nice. Thank you. What we got here... Nice little pre-cut out little thing right here. And now these are good for we're good. That didn't just happen. In an ideal world, I would have prepped a little better and gotten more full-sized cardstock. But you know what? This works pretty well too, damn it. So, well, that's a little bit less than ideal. But you know what we can do? We can fix that. We can fix her. Because I said we can. There we go. Watching with no sound. That's okay. That just means that you get to watch it again. Ah. There we go. So, we've got our rough estimate of this. I have a funny feeling that I'm going to have to trim that piece right there. But, moment of truth, y'all. Does she fit? Ah, like a glove. Could be a little bit bigger over here on this area, but you know what? That's fine. Go ahead and you put this here. Like that. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a way of doing things that when you are unable to properly measure things, ends up working out really well. Now, that being said, I do have some pre-measured cardstock that I am instead going to use for this. Simply because I have a plan for this. It might not seem like it, but I've always got a plan. So, we got some scissors. We got something to make a straight measurement with. It doesn't matter much. As long as you mark off both sides at the proper measurements, you should be able to get a relatively straight line that you can follow to cut. So, where is my pencil? I found her. We're just gonna go. Make sure I'm like fully above this so I know what I'm doing. We're gonna give her yeah, there we go. There we go. We looking good. Give this another little tweak just like that. Put that there. Load her up. It's like magic, isn't it? We're good. We're good. We're good, baby. We're good. This is how This is how we do things in the professional art world. So, again, being careful, keeping a steady hand, and a desire to indeed stay out of the hospital. Just do a nice little bit of snippy snip. Another nice little bit of snippy snip. That one was so good, I think we should do more. Ah, perfection. Now watch. This one's going to end up being a little bit too big. Just because I talked such a big game on how good my technique is. Let's see. Ooh. Again, could be a little bit more accurate in terms of that, but this ends up looking really good when it comes to that. Like, you see, you wouldn't really notice it if I hadn't pointed it out. So, now comes the part where we try to figure out exactly what we want to make. I thought it would have come to me by now. Turns out it hasn't. But you know what? That's okay. We have a whole world of possibilities. So let's think for a second. What do we want to make? It is the holiday season. So, I'm thinking, because you could do something along the lines of like a gingerbread person. You could do a gingerbread house. You could do a Christmas tree or boxes or something like that. But, you know what? I think, oh man, see, this is where this is where it takes over. The endless amount of, like, possibilities and things of that nature kind of take over. So you know what? I think we're just gonna go nice and simple with some holiday colors, and I think we're just gonna kind of go for it, right? So let's just go with a nice little red and green something, I think. So we'll start out just a very kind of basic little, just a nice basic little pattern of just something like this. Doesn't have to go crazy. It doesn't. You could make it go crazy if you want, but the important thing to remember is that you have a good time and you enjoy your art time, because that's what art is supposed to be for. You're supposed to enjoy it. You're supposed to have it be your time to relax. It's very therapeutic to create. It should be therapeutic to create. If you are feeling like it is not, that's okay too. But wow, brain zaps. Anyway, so we're gonna continue making this little. This is a pattern I always find myself falling back on when I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. It's easy, it's simple, It's quick. It's like Little Caesar's hot and ready pizza, right? Is it good? I mean, it's hot and it's ready. Does it matter? It's an old little joke that I cannot take credit for. I stole it from Tumblr. So we're just going to kind of continue this just as such. And if it doesn't look great, that is okay. Because the point of doing it is doing it. I'm not selling this. I'm not really showing it off to anybody. It's just done for the purpose of creating and for the practice and for the enjoyment of it all. And I think at the end of the day, that in itself is a victory, right? It's gotta be. It's gotta count for something. Unless I'm just crazy. Which is a possibility. But moving on. So once we are complete on this, the next step is to add the color, right? What colors will we do? And what way will we make it? I think it's going to stay this way. Let's see. Let's get out some greens and some reds. Ooh, you know what? I do have glitter. I do have glitter pens in here somewhere. Maybe we'll do a glitter one. Maybe we'll do a glitter one. A nice red and green glittery keychain. You know what? I think we'll do that. Let's see, we have metallic. There we go. We got... Yeah. Some glitter gel. I know I have a green here of that one. That variety, we shall say. See, a more prepared person would have already selected the colors, but I don't like to do that here. I think a more free-flowing stream of consciousness type deal is a much better way of doing it. Because, well, plan as you might, doesn't mean things are going to work out the way that you planned them. And sometimes that's okay. We should be able to take that and run with it. I believe, anyway. Now, where, oh where? Oh, you know what? It was sitting right in front of me the whole time. Okay. Good job, Jade. So, now, what we'll do, pretty simple. We'll just go ahead and start filling this in, kind of working slow enough that the ink doesn't totally dry before you finish the area. Because the one thing that I've noticed about these pens, the color can get a little bit weird, depending on how many times you go over the line that you've already made once it's dry. But if you do it while it's wet, these things tend to look more even. It's almost like working with watercolor in a way. And it also seems to work this way more specifically for the glitter variety as well as the... So when I originally bought the ink set, it came with regulars, it came with neons, and pastels. I've noticed the pastels, the neons, and the glitters tend to be a little bit more like paint. A little more like paint. So if I were to just take this and go like that, it looks a little bit more like it's free-flowing. That's actually extremely satisfying to watch through the camera. So, woo! Oh, that looks so cool. We got hearts and stuff, we got swirls and what have you. And then you'll find kind of same thing with the green. It's a little bit darker. Yeah, there we go. That's a nice way of contrasting it. So that's a thing. I totally lost my train of thought there for a second. Anyway, so if we just continue forward with this, I actually do have, because I thought about it, I have a way of making this a little bit more kind of holiday-y. And we're going to get to that in a moment. So we'll just go ahead, continue filling this out, making sure every little piece of area is well inked and cared for. Now there is a method to the madness of why this is being done in the way that it is, because again, you want to make sure that each area is indeed fully dry before trying to go over it with a new color, because you don't want things to bleed into each other. Luckily, this cardstock is good enough quality that you don't really have to worry too much about bleed. But in some situations, it's just gonna bleed and there's nothing you can do about it. But that's just what happens. Anyway, though, continuing onward, and putting a little bit of the pause on my blabbering for just a moment, at least about this and what I've been kind of doing my whole process. I hope you guys are having a good night. I hope you had a good day today. Whatever you might have done, whether you were at work or school or anything, staying at home, enjoying the weather outside, whatever your day was full of, I hope you found it to be satisfying, and I hope you found it to be a little bit more fulfilling. Now, I did realize that I have made a mistake just now, actually. But that's okay. We're just gonna pretend like it didn't even happen. Because mistakes happen. It's art. We can call this one the the special one. This one is unique. It just has an extra piece is all. It gets a little bit extra red. And you know what? That's okay. Sometimes you need a little extra red in your life. And that's what this one right here is getting. A little bit of extra red. However you would like to interpret that, that's totally fine. Now, I will take a moment, as soon as I'm done with this. I realize I've been rambling for a little bit. My throat is starting to get a little dry. So I will be taking a sip of water, and so should everybody else. Because, personally, I forget to hydrate sometimes. And if I do that, certainly everyone else does as well. So, we are done with that. So, like I said, we're gonna hydrate a little bit. Oh, that's good water. Oh, that's real good. Alright, moving forward. As I was saying earlier, I hope everyone is having a good night. Or day, or evening, or if anyone is watching in there, blah 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 words. What do they mean? If anyone's watching and it's, in the middle of the night, I hope you're having a good middle of the night. Nice midnight art session. Hey, that's pretty rad. You are very fortunate to be able to do such a thing. And that's pretty cool. Not only that, but the fact that you'd be watching me in the middle of the night do art. Alright, so once we are done with this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna, just 'cause I'm curious, ooh, look at that glitter, look at that shimmer. Very carefully as to not, look at how pretty. Oh, she's gorgeous. Ah, she's gorgeous, I tell ya. Look at that. That is so pretty. That's a complete piece right there. That's a complete piece right there. I almost don't want to put green on it, but we're going to. Is that a mistake? I don't know. We gonna find out. Even if it doesn't come out the way that I like it, somebody will like it. Somebody will like it. Somebody will have something positive to say. That's usually how it goes. Even if you don't like something you made, somebody else will. Guaranteed. Okay, that is. This one is indeed the glitter pen. I couldn't notice it for a second, so I got a little worried, admittedly. But it turned out all right. Everything turned out fine in the end. As most things end up being. Now, it would be very cool if this were maybe just a little bit darker, or maybe a little bit lighter. Not quite sure. Hmm. I feel like my phone keeps vibrating, but I don't know if I'm actually making that up or not. I could be. Who knows? It could be the movement in the house, because we got a lot of people living here. It can be a very busy household sometimes. I'm also realizing just now that I'm still kind of used to the old camera setup where I had to be more directly below the camera to get the best kind of shot of everything. But I'm thinking the sweet spot is based on where the camera is, it's kind of up and off to the side, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure it does. But what if it doesn't? I don't know, though. There we go. Also, it gives the opportunity upon myself or others rewatching. It gives the opportunity to see it differently based on where the light hits it, which I think is a very cool thing. Technology, man. There's a reason there's a person in every beginning town of a Pokemon game who raves about technology. It's because it's cool stuff, man. So, as we are coming up on finishing this little project, I'm hoping that some of y'all who might be watching, whether you watched some of it live and finished it later, end up watching the whole thing live and come back to it, whatever the case may be, I hope you come out of this with a positive feeling. I hope you learned something, and I hope that I have helped light the fire of creativity inside of you, because I believe that we all have it. I believe that we are all capable of creation of art in one form or the other, oftentimes multiple. I know some people who might be good at one thing, but don't think that they have what it takes to do another thing. Whether it's, a digital versus traditional thing, whether it is drawing versus painting, whatever it is, not only do you have at least one of those things, don't limit yourself. Play around. Have fun. You never know. The next thing you try might be your next new favorite. Might be your next new favorite. That actually is kind of how I feel about these keychains too. There's just something very therapeutic about having to concentrate on such a small little piece and then seeing the whole end product come out, and just knowing that, I guess because it's in addition to it being art, it's also a crafty type thing, but it's a tactile experience as well. And it's just, it's really cool getting to see that it's not just a piece that sits on somebody's wall. You know, it's more. You know, if I'm making a keychain, it's actually going to go onto somebody's keys. Hopefully, that would be the assumption, right? Onto somebody's keys, or maybe they'll gift it to a friend, and it's something about that, the mileage and the journey of the piece of art itself, from imagination onto paper into, a frame, keychain holder, whatever it might be, into somebody's hands, and whether they keep it, gift it, show it off to their friends, they are spreading it around. And I think that there's just something so cool about that. Now look at that. Look at that. Isn't that just the prettiest little thing you've seen all day? Or one of them. Anywho. Oh, come on. I'm trying to be so gentle. Come on, work with me. Here you go. Yeah. Good job. Look at what we got there. Look how pretty that is. Look at the way the light hits it and it shimmers. That's very cool. That's absolutely something to be proud of. And I did end up getting some of it on my finger. Oh no. Well, that's fine. I got a little snack for later. I am kidding. I don't really recommend eating ink. I mean, it's very likely not toxic. But that doesn't mean it won't still upset your tummy if you do eat it. That is very cool. It's almost like it gives it a bit of texture. Texture is nice. Okay, so now we get to do something extra cool. Let's make sure I get this off my finger. All right. Alrighty. So now we're gonna set this off to the side, right there. We're gonna take this, and what we're actually gonna do with it, we're gonna change it up, right? We're gonna turn this into something a little bit different. Now, it is a keychain, but what if I told you? I did say I had a plan from the get-go, did I not? Jade is always thinking on her feet. So we're just gonna go ahead and remove. We're gonna remove this part. What we're gonna do instead. Now I found these when I was rearranging the bedroom. Yeah. We're gonna turn this into a nice little ornament. To be hung. Whether or not on a tree, on a little bush, wherever. That's what's gonna happen. So we're gonna take one of these. Now, I'm sure I could remove this part if I wanted to. I don't know if there would be a way to do it without breaking this part itself. But I don't think I want to just break it. So what you could do, you could just slide it up through here as such. Or I like ornaments that are a little more swingy. Maybe it's because I'm a cat person. That's good. You want... That's chef's kiss right there. Mwah. You want your ornaments to have good swingage. That's what we'll call that, baby. We'll call that good swingage. Oh man. So we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this around just a couple times like so. Because we want it to be nice and good and secure and safe and all of those good things. Once we've got it a couple times, there we go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, wouldn't you say? So, we're good with that. Now comes one of my favorite parts. The part where we date it and sign it, so that we can forever add it into our little data bank in our heads called our memory. So let's just go on ahead here. And it could go either way. It's not meant to be specifically one direction or the other. I'm going to keep it like this because I like it like that. Now, hopefully, the ink is dry enough that turning it on its side won't cause it to smudge. I am placing a good amount of trust in this here ink. So, I do believe it is the 10th of December. So, we'll just boom. Perfection, right? Wouldn't you say? Have you ever seen a better handmade ornament? Yeah, I can talk. I swear. Boom. Now comes the part where we seal it off. And we send it to the final stage of its life. Just like that, we take our backs. This is definitely my favorite part. It was my favorite part about making the keychains, and it's just my favorite part about this whole process in general. Kind of the full reveal. And that's where we go, like that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? We just made an ornament. Okay, that's actually very funny because oh, there we go. because the way that ended was a little bit convenient. But there we go. We've got that ornament. We've created not only a memory, but that could very well be part of a Christmas present for somebody. Isn't that just insanely cool? And how easy it was. Anybody could do that. I could do it again. I could do it for every member of my family. I could do it for every friend. So could everybody watching. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about creation of art that we have. Anybody could do this. It costs pennies, if that. These supplies that I used were inexpensive, but had I not bought them, I could have used other things. And so could you. So, thank you to everyone who joined in tonight. Thank you for letting me ramble on in your heads, listening to me talk at great length about nothing. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Just so it's something cute to end stream on, we'll do something just like, I think that's a cute little, aside from the glare of the ring light, jade, something like that. I don't know. I just feel like that's a good picture to send to somebody. Thank you guys. I hope to see you again soon. Do art. Make things. You'll thank me later. Have a good night, y'all. Next time, it won't be so long. Thank you.